Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We are live and being recorded on March 28th, 2023. My name is Alyssa Atkins, and I am the Training and Development Coordinator for the Native Learning Center. Just a quick disclaimer, this webinar provides a summary of fundamental concepts, requirements, and/or procedures within the allotted 90 minutes. The material discussed does not illustrate all possible scenarios that could be applicable. Before we get started, I wanted to familiarize you with some of the features available and how the environment works. If you look at the top of your screen, you will see an icon of either a person with their hand raised or just a hand. With that icon, you can either raise hand, agree, disagree, or step away. Now your screen should look similar to this graphic here. To the bottom left, you will see a box that says Files. Here you will find today's presentation. Please feel free to download a copy for yourself. Simply click the item you would like to download, then click the arrow pointing downwards, and you will be prompted to save or print the materials based on your device's permissions. The second box that states web links to houses today's survey, as well as any other links that are found throughout the presentation. Lastly, to the right of the screen, we have a chat box available. This is how you will communicate to the instructor and NLC staff. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to interact by using the chat box. Simply type your message and hit enter or click that up arrow icon button to submit. We encourage class participation, so please feel free to write in those questions or comments. Tech support issues should also be submitted here. It is with a great pleasure that I introduce Lynn Wilson and Mark Thompson. I'm going to go ahead and switch the screen over to you, Lynn.
Okay, thank you so much. Before I pull up my screen, just want to talk about a couple of things. I'm not going to do a PowerPoint presentation today because it's really difficult to switch back and forth in Adobe between a PowerPoint presentation and all the stuff I need to show you that's actually online. So I'm just going to do everything online today. Can I get a raise of hands if you were here for yesterday's session? This is session 2 of a 4-part series on website development. So if you were here yesterday, if you could just raise your hand. Thank you, Brittany. Candace, good. Good, okay. Then I take it Angelica, Felicia, Tracy, that you guys are just joining us today for the first time, and that's okay. All right. So let me, in that instance, just kind of recap a little bit what we did yesterday. And so now may be a good time for me to share my screen. So 1 second. So Alyssa or Mark, since it's hard for me to see the chat or anything, could you just let me know that you are seeing my computer screen?
Yes, Lynn, I can see it.
Okay, thank you, Alyssa. So yesterday, what we discussed in the class was, we went over some basic information like, best practices for choosing a URL. We talked about different website platforms that you could use to create a website, focusing mostly on WYSIWYG platforms, which means it's those type of platforms like Wix, Google Sites, Weebly, Squarespace, where you don't have to know any kind of code to build a website. You just kind of pull up a template and you type in the information, just much like you're typing into a Word document. We also discussed, trying to remember everything that we discussed yesterday, a lot of basic information, but what we were getting down to, the important stuff is the 4 pages that every website should have. And it doesn't mean that your website should only have 4 pages. I'm just saying that there are 4 pages that your website definitely needs to have. And those 4 pages are a home page, an about page, a page for your product or services, and a contact page. So yesterday we dove into looking at the elements that a home page needs to have. And I'm just going to pull this down here so you can actually see a graphic. But this is a handout that I am going to share with everyone. So let me just go ahead and share that now while I'm thinking of it so you guys have it. Okay. So that's a link to the Google Doc. So if you want to download this little handout, you're certainly welcome to. And so what we see, the important elements that a home page needs, you need to have, of course, your navigation menu. And, you know, sometimes I have seen websites that have navigation menus like on the side or maybe down at the bottom. And something I just want you to keep in mind is just to make sure wherever you put your navigation menu that it's easy to see for people. And so for that reason, I suggest that you usually keep the navigation at the top because that's what people are used to. People are not used to having to scroll down to the bottom of a website page for navigation. So best practice would probably just to make sure that that navigation is in the top part of your screen. And also, you know, making sure that your company logo is displayed. And we talked about this too yesterday, is making sure that when people come to your website homepage, that they understand what your business is about. Because sometimes, and I know some of you have probably encountered this, you visit a website and from the homepage, you cannot tell anything about what kind of business that is. And so I think it's just the best practice that when people visit your homepage, that they get a good sense of, okay, this is where I need to be, and this is the kind of information that I'm going to find in this website. So, you know, making sure that you have things like a good, it says website description here. I need to change that to like business description, you know, a little paragraph about what your business is about. A call to action. Let me see if I can increase the size of this a little bit. Okay, well, it makes it a little bit fuzzy, but anyway, so, you know, on my website, I have a call to action right on the homepage, which says shop for authentic Cherokee products. And, you know, it's because the main reason for my website is I want people to purchase stuff from me. So I just make sure and put that call to action right there at the top where it's visible. It's also really good to help include some relevant images on your website homepage. Again, this just lets people know that whenever they visit your site and they're on the homepage, they know what, you know, that they're in the right place and they have a good understanding of what your business is about just by being able to take a quick look at it. You can also have another call to action on your homepage. So this call to action says sign up for my monthly corn bead necklace giveaway. And the reason why I put this call to action here is even if someone does go to my store and they take a look around, if they don't buy something from me, then I'm not capturing their information. And that's one thing I want to do in my business. I want to capture people's information because even though they may not be a customer at the moment and purchase something, they are potential customers in the future or they wouldn't be on my website. So I have that there. So that way I have a way to collect the person's information, email address, name, and then I can use that to reach out to them in the future, whether that's, you know, by doing an email campaign or something like that. We also have contact information. Again, this is very important. It just really gets frustrating to me if I'm on an organization or a business website and I'm trying to find out like, well, where's your, you know, who do I contact? And So making sure you have that contact information. And I will say, also if there's someone in here that maybe you're, planning on building a website for your nonprofit organization, and you have perhaps different staff that work for your organization, having a way to contact those staff members, I think, is always a good practice. Sometimes I'll go, I'm looking for a specific person within an organization, and I'll go to the website. They may not have their team members listed. If they do, they don't have the team member's email address. They may just have some generic like info at email. And so if I send an email to that info at, I'm just like, well, so who's getting this? Is this the executive director that's getting it? Is it a receptionist? And if I mean for this email to go to a specific person, is it going to get, forwarded to them? So contact information is pretty important. And if you do have a business or a nonprofit organization for that matter, it's always good to make sure that if you are utilizing social media, that you give a way for people to connect with you socially. That's another thing that we discussed, in the class yesterday, that there's a lot of differences between having a website and having just like a social media page for your organization or your business. And one or the other on their own, sometimes people have like just a social media page, but they don't have a website. And we discussed kind of the pros and cons for that. But it's always good if you can combine and have both, because you need different methods of communicating with your customers and your potential customers. So that was, the homepage elements. So in class today, you probably read when you signed up for this class that this was going to be a hands-on class. And so today we are going to be doing several exercises where we are going to actually, stop, and I'm going to ask you guys to grab a pen and paper. So please do that now, because there are some things that we're going to do. And I ask that everyone please do it. And, if you are in this class because you're like, I wasn't really, I don't have a business that I'm doing a website for, or I don't have an organization that I'm doing a website for, then I'm just going to ask you to make something up, because the important part of website development and the hardest part is developing the content. Actually building the site is pretty easy. So I think if you're in this class and you're wanting to learn about website development, that it's crucial that you really understand this process. So what we're going to do is I want to have you create a description for your business or your organization. Like I said, if you don't have either, make one up. Think about a hobby or something that you have and just think, well, if I was going to develop a business, based on my hobby of kayaking, how would I describe that business? And so I'm going to pull up mine here. Let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger for you guys on your end. Okay. There we go. So this is a description that I created for my business homepage. And so when you're reading this description, you'll see, very briefly, I say, here's what I provide. And you can tell like, well, who are the target market that I'm trying to connect with? And that's people who enjoy growing like heirloom plants and plants that are unique. I don't think this updated from when I switched it earlier, but so this is not the description I was planning to show, but that's okay. This is a good enough description. So I want you to take about 10 minutes, and I just want you to write a paragraph or 2 paragraphs. Don't go past 2 paragraphs. When someone's on your homepage, you need to be able to pretty quickly explain, what your business does. Because people usually aren't going to stick around and read a whole lot of text on the home page. So the purpose of your business description on this page is really just to make sure people understand that they're in the right place and that they understand what you're going to do. So I'm going to set a timer here for 10 minutes, and I want you guys just to grab your pen and paper and write yourself a business description. And then here in 10 minutes, I'll first ask for volunteers. And if I don't get volunteers, then I'm just going to start going down the participant list and calling names. Okay. All right. So the time is starting right now. And I'm going to leave my mic open, or I'm going to be here on the end. So if you do have a question or something, if you could just type it into the chat box, and NAHASDA will let me know what your question is. And if we need to, we can also unmute you so you can ask as well.
Lynn, so just so you know, Tracy did type in the chat box, and she did say, I'm at work listening, but I will interact as much as I can.
Okay, thank you.
And Trenton, I see you, your hand is raised. Did you want to type anything in the chat box? Do you had a question or anything?
Yeah, I apologize if I'm a little scratchy. I'm going through it right now, but just want to know. We heard what you said, Wista, and she thank you. You just got to do the best you can. We do think these exercises are valuable for, as Lynn was mentioning, even if you don't have a website, these are your marketing journey. And so it's always good to be producing these materials.
Yeah, and you broke up a little bit, Mark, but I think we pretty much heard everything you said. So yeah, it's, I know sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, I'm being put on the spot. And this is just, to help you at least start that process, because as I mentioned, this is the hardest part of developing a website. is developing all the content for your website. And so if you can get the content for your website, especially for these key pages, then it's really just going to be a breeze for you. So, don't be nervous, and nobody's going to laugh at you or anything. I mean, look at me. I'm putting myself out there by what I wrote on my website. And I hope everyone can see that. Okay, here in a minute when we get done, I'll read it to you in case somebody is, on their phone or something and is unable to actually read the description. But, again, just what kind of business do you have? What's the name of your business? What does your business do or offer? Is there a reason that, you like doing this business? So it's just a very brief description. Again, the point of this small description on your homepage is primarily to let people know, hey, okay, this is the kind of content I was searching for. I'm in the right place.
Lynn, I just wanted to let you know that Marlon made a comment. She said, we have about the artist page on our current website. His bio is listed. We have tabs that show different art mediums, a self-portrait. I assist with the paperwork while he works on art.
Okay. Well, good. Then you'll have something to easily share with us then. And so sometimes, if you are an artist, sometimes people will substitute like the business description for the artist bio. And I would say still, and so the description about the artist, like the about me, that is actually the next thing next exercise that we're going to do. But I want to encourage you that even if you are an artist, if that information is not on your homepage, that you consider doing kind of a separate little description or something on the homepage that kind of lets people know that they're in the right place. And then the about me, can be a whole separate page. But, if you on the homepage, if you are an artist or something and you want your bio on that homepage and not do a separate about me page, then I think that would be acceptable for you to do.
Also, Lynn, Naomi Calabasa is also at work, and she's going to try her best to interact as much as possible.
Okay, I'll just have to help remind me of who to call on and not call on.
Absolutely, a lot of lists going.
You need to.
And you know what? To entice everybody, I'm going to say
that you need to have one.
I've got the timer on. So we got 1 minute, 30 seconds. And the first person to share, I am going to give a $10 Amazon gift card to. Okay, Shantae. You were on that. So Mark, make sure I don't forget about these people. Okay, Lynn, that's totally fine. If you want to write it in the chat box, you're certainly welcome to. So Shantae and Naomi, I don't know which one of you. I assume Shantae was first since she typed in the chat box first. But Naomi, let me just see what I can do for you too, as far as a gift card. Okay. Raven, we are writing business descriptions for our homepage, our website homepage. So that's what's going on right now, and that's why it's been kind of quiet on this end. But here in just a second, there we go. Timer stopped. Okay, so Shantae, Awista, can you unmute Shantae's mic?
Let me know if that worked for you, Shantae.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, it's working. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. So I typed it in the chat, but I will read it as well. Sorry, I hope I'm not giving too much feedback from the mic.
No, you sound absolutely perfect. So.
Okay, perfect. So I own a business called Native American Financial Literacy Services. So I'll just read what I typed in there. So Native American Financial Literacy Services provides financial literacy programs and resources to specifically support Native American tribes and organizations and the tribal members they serve. We teach financial literacy workshops either on site or via live webinars. We are 100% Native and woman-owned, and all of our instructors are Native licensed financial professionals. As Native families continue to struggle to achieve financial independence, financial illiteracy has become an epidemic and continues to be a major problem in Indian country. Native families deserve to be financially educated and empowered, and our team of Native licensed financial professionals are here.
Awesome. That was great, Shantae. Oh, thank you so much for sharing. So Naomi, do you care if Awista will unmute your mic and
I gave her microphone access. Just let me know if it's working. I'm working on giving everyone microphone access. So at any given point, you will be able to just click the little microphone button and speak.
So Naomi, you're welcome to unmute your mic now and share your business description. Okay, so Naomi, while you're looking for it, I'm just going to, okay, so there was Shantae's. I'm going to go ahead and read Angelica's, and then hopefully by then you've got your mic.
Yeah, I found it.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead then. We'll just go ahead with you, and then we'll let Angelica go.
I'm using my phone, so everything is all crammed in. That's why I couldn't find it. Well, hi, everyone. Mine's is going to be at Red Fox Studio, you will find a variety of handmade jewelry, including ground down turquoise, stone necklaces, bracelets, rings, pendants. I also have a variety of different handmade turquoise stone and shell work. You will find and also enjoy purchasing and owning a handmade piece of jewelry, which is great to collect. You can find Red Fox Studio jewelry representing Santo Domingo tribe, history and culture, and we preserve and continue to promote our traditional way of turquoise. And then I didn't find a way to put it in, but this technique has no European influence. It's been from time immemorial. So that's a pretty rough draft, and it is 100% Native owned. So that was just lines in a nutshell.
Excellent, excellent job. And yes, remember that we don't expect any of these. I just gave you 10 minutes, right? Gave you 10 minutes to come up with something very quick. So we don't expect anything to be perfect. But I would say that that is an extremely good start. And yes, I think, being able to communicate that the practice that you're using, the way you're creating these items, have been the way that your people have been doing it forever. So I think that that's a great thing to add there as well. So those were awesome. And I didn't know, is there, because I know some people typed in the chat box and not all of you can probably unmute because you're at work, but is there anyone else that's willing to unmute and read their business description?
I would just like to say everybody is unmute, so anyone can speak if they like at any given time.
Okay. Well, Raven, I see that you're volunteering, so go ahead and read your business description.
All right. Can everybody hear me?
You sound great.
Nice. All right. So I am the technical operations officer for the Virginia Tribal Education Consortium. So I'm going to read our welcome message that is on our homepage. In 2019, tribal leaders from the 7 federally recognized Indian nations across Virginia to create a 501c3 tribal education agency with the mission to build the leadership capacity of our tribal nations to support academic excellence, cultural awareness, and historical accuracy. Virginia Tribal Education Consortium is committed to the facilitation of accurate Virginia Indian history, sovereignty, self-determination, and educational opportunities. To learn more about VTech, click here.
Oh, great. I love that call to action. And Marlene, okay. Oh, yeah, yeah. So that's why I'm thankful to everyone that did share. And just in case because I can't tell if anyone, is having problems seeing my business description, here's the thing I want you to remember. Whenever you're developing content for your website, if you wait to launch your site until you feel like everything is absolutely perfect, you're probably never going to launch it. So I say, do the best you can, launch the site. And that's the great thing about creating a website and having control of it, as we talked about yesterday, because, you can go in there and make little tweaks and stuff to it and improve it as time goes on. So what I wrote for my business is at Cherokee Garden, you will find a variety of Cherokee heirloom seeds, including different varieties of corn, beans, and squash. We also have a great variety of plants traditionally used for medicine and cultural purposes. While we do not promote or share information on how to prepare and use medicinal plants, they are perfect for use as pollinator plants and will attract many bees and butterflies. You will also enjoy growing plants such as Cherokee corn beads, which are great to use in jewelry. You can find Cherokee corn beads, or you can find Cherokee corn bead jewelry in my store, representing aspects of Cherokee culture and history. All right. So good job, everyone. Hey, that's one thing that you've got done now and that you don't have to stress about doing. Like I said, this is all the hardest part is just kind of coming up with the text because, everyone can come up probably with good pictures and everything for their website. So next we are going to talk about the About Me page. So again, this is just one of the important pages that everyone should have as part of their website. So the About Me page is how potential customers and employees are going to learn about your business. And it's also going to really help you form those strong connections with people who actually come and visit your website. So when your customers feel like they actually know you, you'll become a more credible brand in their eyes. And this is one reason why, having this kind of information and talking about yourself building a relationship is what you're trying to do when people come to your website. So your About Me page should express the following information, who you are, what your values and principles are, why the product or service you're offering is important to you, and how did you get to where you are today? What inspired you to create your business? So to write an effective About Me page, just avoid writing a bunch of fluff and try to stick to facts about yourself and your business, because kind of like the business description, if you make it too wordy, like 3 pages long, people might get bored and then click away from your page. So it's always a balancing act on, providing people with enough information, but then not going overboard with it. And I would say, as you're developing the content for your website, maybe I don't know, family and friends are always the best people to ask, because, friends come to me and they're like, what do you think about this? I'm like, oh, that's great. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, that sucks. But, maybe seek out some advice, have others look at your text that you've written. That's also a good thing to do, just to make sure that it's been proofread and that there are not, any spelling errors or something like that, because that can just come across as kind of unprofessional to some people. So your About Me page should also be written for your target audience. So, whenever you're writing about your About Me page, try to visualize who your ideal customer is and what it is that they're really needing and wanting. So I think that's the important thing to understand in business is, why are people coming to you? Because they're seeking like a solution to a problem. There's, some kind of internal desire usually that, causes us to go out and want to purchase things. And so you just kind of need to figure out, who that person is and what it is that they're needing or wanting from you. And this is going to help you get, a better idea of who you should be writing for. So for example, if your target audience is college students, your About Me page would sound a lot different than if your target audience is like financial professionals. But regardless of whoever your contact or your target market is, just make sure the About Me page is interesting and engaging. I guess I should, since we're talking about that, I'll put it over on my About page. And I'll read it to you in a second, just in case you can't see it very well. So, try to grab people's attention right off the bat. Try to let some of your personality shine through in your About Me page. And this is just, I love doing business with people that I know. And I understand that, we don't always know our customers on a personal basis, but I have had, like people send me messages that have purchased from me, and they have told me like, oh, they'll write it in a review, Gay D is a beautiful soul. That's my Cherokee name, by the way. She's such a beautiful soul, and you can just tell what a wonderful person she is. They've never met me, but it's just because they've read my bio on my website or in my Etsy store. They're getting to get a peek into my life through the images that I share. And so this is just another way to help you connect with customers. So my About Me page says Osio Ganali, which means hello, friend in Cherokee. My name is Gay D. Wilson. I am a citizen of the Cherokee Nation and live on a farm located in the historic Tahlequah District, Indian Territory, present-day Hobart, Oklahoma. I'm a wife and a mother of 2 really great young men. So growing up, my family always had a garden and always had fresh and preserved vegetables on hand. Having a garden was a necessity. We lived in the country and we didn't have, close access to a grocery store. And although I didn't realize it at the time, we were also poor. So as an adult, I was busy going to college, building a career, and raising a family. So gardening hadn't been a part of my life for a long time. When the pandemic hit and my community faced empty shelves on the grocery store, I worked with our local Cherokee Community Center to start a community garden specifically focused on growing traditional Cherokee crops. Agriculture has always been a part of Cherokee life and has been a great way for us to learn from our elders and pass this aspect of our culture on to our children. My family are avid hunters, and our freezer is always stocked with wild game and fish. I'm happy to add gardening back to our way of life and to teach my children how to be even more self-sufficient. So through Cherokee Garden, I look forward to helping others have access to the plants that have been part of Cherokee life since time immemorial. And then I talk a little bit about my kind of my background, a little bit about my grandmother and how I've kind of learned to do the things that I do. As I read it, I'm thinking, I don't know. And you guys give me like a show of hands. I'm going to pull up the participant list. Is that all too wordy? Do you think it needs to be shorter? And you're not going to hurt my feelings. So if you think that my About Me page is too wordy, just raise your hand, and I'm not going to call you out or anything. I'm just kind of curious to see what people think. And again, this is just a good part of the website development process, is to allow other people to view your site and get feedback from them to see how you might improve. So thank you very much, Tracy and Shantae. Okay, thank you.
Lynn, I just want to let you know, there was one message from Tracy. I think her mic wasn't working earlier when she was trying to give her description. She typed, "This is a Indian woman, 100% owned business that will be wholesaling of beads and fabric as well as Airbnb." And then Raven Adams said, "I think it fits the service and who you are as a provider," regarding to your website.
Okay, great. Great job. Great job. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for reading that, Oista. And so now we're going to work on actually writing the About Me section of our website. And so you've kind of, read mine. Again, just to kind of cover some of the elements. Let me move some stuff out of my way. Who you are, what are your values and principles, what product or service are you offering, and, why is that important to you? Actually, I think I'll type these in the chat box here. And so that way, as you're doing the exercise, you kind of have a guide, who you are. Okay. Well, that gives you some, some points to kind of use as a guide as you write your About Me description. And thank you to everyone who had the comments and the feedback for me. I truly appreciate that. So before we do that, I just kind of wanted to show you, since we're looking at the elements of the About Me page, again, you can see here that I have the navigation menu. I have relevant pictures. So on the About Me page, I'm just trying to give that sneak peek into the type of person I am and what my interests are. So you've got me and my grannies, my one, which is no longer with us anymore, but we had her for 93 years. So that was awesome. I love kayaking. I love going to culture classes and interacting with other people in my tribe. And then, of course, based on my description, I do talk about how how my family are avid hunters and how we've added gardening to this. So I wanted to make sure and just share some images. There's my boys. They've been rabbit hunting, so they're cleaning rabbits there in the spring, and obviously fishing, and they were getting ready to go deer hunting here. So again, just trying to give someone, that insight so that when they read about me and they see my pictures, that they get a good idea of who I am and what my values are as a person. So, okay, so we're going to stop here. I know that this is probably a little bit more in depth than writing your business description. So if everyone's okay with it, let me see where we are at on time. I think we're okay on time. So I'm going to give 15 minutes for this exercise, and let you guys work on that, and then we'll share some examples with each other. And of course, I'm here in the background if anyone has any questions. So I'm just going to push start. Okay, so you got 15 minutes to work on your bio, and feel free to, if you want to, while you're working on it, if you kind of want to open another browser window and look at maybe some examples that other people have done on their website, then you're certainly welcome to do that. And I'll just kind of scroll up here and leave. Let me see if I can make mine just a little bit bigger here, so you can at least see parts of my bio and how I've done mine. And there's no right or wrong way. I think it depends on you as a person. It depends on what kind of business you have, the tone that you create. I'm not a financial advisor, or that's not what my business is. I understand I'm a business counselor, provide financial advice and stuff. So if I were doing a website based on what I do in my day job, it would probably sound much more I don't want to say professional, because I think I sound professional enough in this, but it's just a different way of speaking. And this is, of course, in this way, I just want to come across as I want the message that I send to people to match the business that I do. So I'm looking here and I see like someone posted their work bio. And I would say, that's fine. But if you're developing a bio like for your the organization that you work for, that's fine. So again, just make sure that your bio is relevant to whatever it is that the website was developed for. So if your website is developed for your job, then having the typical like professional bio with your education background and all of that, that's perfectly acceptable. But like in my bio here, I'm not focused on that aspect of myself. So I don't talk, about my college education or any of my professional achievements. I'm just keeping it very personal and related to my business. Mark suggested that I kind of put a timer up here for you guys instead of just doing it on my phone. Okay, good. I'm pretty much right in sync with my.
Yeah, and hit that little box next to the speaker icon. You can even go full screen there. See how that look? Oh, look at that. That is
Fancy.
beautiful.
Of
There
course,
you
now
go.
they can't see my business description, but
I'm sorry. I didn't know what I just thought that was cool. But if you got to go back to the business description, go for it.
I think I'm going to, just in case. Okay, well, now it's not wanting to let me shrink it. We're going to leave it. I think I gave everyone a good enough outline of what should be in their business description. So
Try hitting escape and see what happens.
oh, there we go. Okay, thank you, Mark.
There it is. I'm the tech guy at work, so
You're the boss in the TV store.
Yeah.
Maybe that was an old local commercial, so that may not make sense to anybody. If you're from my area, you would laugh. And sorry, everyone. I know that we've been sitting here typing into chat, so it's probably pushing down the bullet points or the list that I gave you there on what should be kind of the outline for your About Me page. So you may have to kind of scroll back up through the chats. Mark and Oista, I'm going to step away for just a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. I always have to fill the silence, so I'm going to announce everybody when it's 5 minutes, just so it's not too silent too long. Okay, 5 minutes to go on the exercise.
Well, Mark, I guess I should have had the music playing like you do in the background when we're doing exercises. Feel free to sing them.
I was just thinking about that. I was just going to tell everybody. I hope I'm not disturbing everybody as they're writing, but I would do webinars and I would put music, and it drove Lynn absolutely nuts. And so I stopped doing that. I do know one time I had it. I didn't know what I was doing. I think it was one of the first times I used music, and I had it cranked up so loud. I think it was painful, wasn't it? It was just
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
It was
So,
terrible. I
but
don't know. There's been a couple times you played some good music. I'm just weird about music. Like
right.
I'm not a music person, but if you play something from the 80s, I'm all about it.
Okay. All right. Well, next time we're going to get some 80s music going.
There you go. I'm a big hair band fan.
Of course, you know what I'm thinking though, for this type of exercise, maybe just some classical or something, just to get people in the creative writing mode.
Yes, as long as it's that beat.
Oh, okay. Yes, you don't want to put anybody to sleep, for sure.
And while everyone is just writing, I'll just go ahead and mention again. I hope I'm not interrupting people's creative process, but so I know today is a lot of like doing these exercises, but tomorrow what we're going to focus on is developing like brand assets for your business, and it'll be pretty. I think everyone will find it pretty interesting. So tomorrow won't be like today where we're doing a lot of exercises, but the good thing about today is by the time today ends, then you've got a really good understanding of the process of developing content for your website. And this is the hardest part. And if you are done writing your bio, if you need to go grab a cup of coffee or run to the restroom, you're welcome to do that. One minute left. Okay. Thank you, Google Timer. Just get that out of the way here. And okay. So let me pull up the list so I can see everybody. So is there anybody that wrote like an about me for the first time? Like right now in this exercise, you wrote it, not something that you already had, but you actually had to do it totally from scratch. If you can raise your hand. Okay, Tracy. All right. Well, Tracy and Naomi, okay, good. Okay. All right. Well, Tracy, do you want to share what you wrote about yourself with everyone?
Can you hear me, Lynn?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Hear you there.
Okay. Well, good to see you, and good to see you too, Mark. I haven't seen Mark in a very long time. About me, Dr. Tracy Blue, a Native American from the Choctaw Nation, has a doctorate in special education and clinical sciences that includes a wealth of experience and research in designing and implementing unique and innovative strategies and solutions for personal, home, or workplaces in empowering everyone regardless of ability. We feel it is important to offer the best, most innovative and cost-effective solutions and strategies for better living. I just wrote that off the cuff. So.
Great. Thank you so much, Tracy. Good job. And very much appreciate you sharing. Okay, let me see. There was someone else. Who was the other person that they said that they just during this exercise kind of wrote about me for the very first time? Who was that? If you could just come off of mute. Was it you, Naomi?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but I really didn't. I was like at a stumbling block. I just have a few. It says my name is Naomi Calabaza. I'm from the San Domingo Pueblo Nation. I live on the tribal land, and I'm a daughter of Kawin and Olivia Calabaza. I'm a mother of 2 young boys. I've grown up with my family. Always have been doing turquoise inlay silver jewelry. Continuing the traditional way of making jewelry that has no European influence and passing down to the next generation. My boys are also making jewelry. And then I just kind of like stumbled on there because I'm going in and out, but that's pretty much what I have right now.
That's an excellent start, Naomi. And I really felt by, learning that about you, like that just gives me more insight into who you are as a person, and Tracy as well. And so that's really the kind of thing that you're trying to focus on when you're writing about yourself. It's very awkward for us to write about ourselves, right? But that's the great thing about doing something like this for your website, that I'm like, well, because I know a lot of times people will ask me for a professional bio, and I don't know about anyone else, but it's like when I'm trying to write a bio, like in relation to my job, I always feel kind of weird because, people do expect me to talk about my education and, maybe, things I've been recognized for, and that's uncomfortable for me sometimes. I don't, always feel like, oh, I'm going to come across as being braggy or something to people. But that's what I love about writing descriptions like we just did. If you have a business, to really pull yourself down and bring it, from another perspective. And there may be, like Tracy, and there was someone else in the class, where your educational background is totally relevant. So I'm not saying don't ever do that. You just need to think about, what product or service it is that you're offering and who your customer or your target customer is, and just trying to make sure that you're talking in a manner that relates well with them. So I think everyone did a most excellent job on that. So Tracy and Naomi, I'm also sending you an Amazon gift card. I appreciate you guys for sharing. Okay. Here. All right. So that was the About Me page. So another really important, crucial page that you're going to need for your website, whether it's for a business or a nonprofit organization, is you need, a page that talks about the products or services that you offer. And you'll learn this. I have created videos that walks you step by step, like how to create a website using Google Sites. And so I'm hoping, tomorrow that we get to that. But if for some reason we don't, at least, I have everything recorded. So you're going to come out of this class with a lot of good resource videos that you can watch. But this is my one of my product pages. I actually have two. Now, obviously, when I started this business, I was focused completely on providing like seeds for heirloom plants. But then I just also kind of fell into creating jewelry. And now this has actually become probably the primary part of my business. But just, having that page that showcases what it is that you sell, talks about the product. And then something that you'll notice down here that I think is really good to do. And again, I've created a video that will show you how to do this in case you don't know. One of the things that you're going to want to do in your website is probably have some kind of customer testimonial. And I don't know about you, but a lot of times if I go to someone's website and I just see, a testimonial typed out, I'm always like, I wonder if that's a real testimonial or if they just made that up. So what I really like to do whenever I want to share testimonials is I will go to I have an Etsy store. So where people leave me reviews, I will actually take screenshots of those. So you can do this too. Or if your business is listed on Google My Business and someone has left you a Google review, or perhaps you've been selling through Facebook and you've had someone write a comment or a message to you saying, oh my gosh, I love the earrings that I bought, from you. Take screenshots of those testimonials and include those in there, because this just looks to people like, okay, this is legit. This is, this would be really hard to fake. And so that's just a tip for you to do and add to your products or services page. Okay, so 2:09, we got 20 minutes left. So one more exercise, one more. And what I'm actually going to do is, by the way, you'll notice that this is my website, but I have in here a link that goes directly to my shop store here. And so I have a product here. Let me open the description. Product descriptions are very, very important. And this is something else that, people have a lot of hard time with and doing. And so I want to give everyone kind of a chance to write a description. Maybe, if you are creating a jewelry item, take this opportunity to write a description about that item. If you're doing, some kind of service or other type of business, maybe pick one service, so if you're trying to think off the top of my head, let me use my husband. My husband does lawn and landscaping. And so maybe he picks one service like tree trimming, and he writes a description about, his tree trimming services. So that's kind of the approach that I want you to take. And I'll just read my product description here. And my product description is is pretty lengthy. Again, this is one of those things that you do kind of have to be careful about a product description and really just give people the information that they want to know. But because my items are very cultural and connected to my tribe's culture and history, mine tend to be a little bit lengthy, because this is the type of information that my customers are actually looking for. They don't want just a description of, like, oh, the necklace is 18 inches and here's what kind of toggle it has. And what they're really looking for is they're looking more for the meaning behind what it is I create. So in my description, it says, show your Cherokee pride in this 30-inch necklace modeled by actress Nathalie Standing Cloud. Read on to learn more about the cultural aspects of this necklace, including the legend of the Cherokee corn bead. And so I go on to tell people, how Cherokee corn beads are commonly found in jewelry worn by Cherokee people because they represent the grief that our people experienced on the Trail of Tears. And I explain, that the dark beads in this necklace are set in 17 sections of beads representing the 17 detachments of Cherokee that were moved from the East to Indian Territory. And there are seven corn beads representing our 7 clans. And I talk about, how I grow these corn beads here on my farm. And I kind of go into a little bit more of telling people, like, what the beads are made out of. I highlight, some specific things like, oh, it's approximately 20 inches in length and made with size 8 seed beads. And then down here, I actually have like a story. It's called The Legend of the Cherokee Corn Bead. So people can read that and understand, oh, that's why you see Cherokee people wear those corn beads all the time in the jewelry that they wear. So just a quick example of my product description. Again, I understand mine is way too long. And so for a lot of you, your product description might be, just a paragraph. But here's some things to think about when you're writing your product description. You've got features that you need to talk about, and you have benefits. And so the features of this necklace are things like the length of it, right? It's 18 inches long. It has a toggle closure. The chain style is bead. Those are the kind of the features of the necklace. And it's kind of unusual because the benefits of this necklace, like I could say, well, the benefit of the toggle closure is that it's easy to take on and put on and take off by yourself. That would definitely be a benefit. But for my jewelry, what I do is, because the benefit I think that my customers are looking for is they're looking for a way to learn about Cherokee culture, or if they are Cherokee, they're looking for a way to connect to Cherokee culture. And that's why I do my descriptions like I do, because that is the benefit that my customers are getting. So again, it just depends on what product or service you're offering. So it's 2:14. So we're just going to make this super darn quick so that Awista has time to close us out for the end of the day. So I'm just going to, 10 minutes. And if you guys can just take the next 10 minutes to work on a product description, that would be fantastic. And let me find my little timer again up here. Okay. All right. We'll give you 10 minutes to do that. We'll do a quick share, and then we're going to wrap up for the day. And then tomorrow we will come back and learn about things like creating a logo, creating a favicon, picking brand colors for your business so that whenever you're developing the website, you know what colors and stuff that you need to use. So fun stuff tomorrow. if anyone gets done, would you just go ahead and raise your hand? And then I'm just going to choose the first person I see that raises their hand, and so we can go ahead and move forward and wrap the class up. Of course, you're still welcome to take the rest of the 5 minutes, but if someone is done, we can go ahead and share. And again, if anyone is finished and ready to share, just go ahead and raise your hand or unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Naomi again.
Hey, Naomi.
Okay, so I was trying to think real hard. It's just one of the item I would say on my description would be is a turquoise necklace. It's 20 inches in length. Materials used is Kingman turquoise and silver discs. Graduated rolled disc from 1 inch to a ½ inch in diameter, and it's strung on tiger tail, capped with sterling silver and cone clasps.
Okay, great. So you did an absolute excellent job at talking about the features of your product. And so, I would say as you move on in developing your product description and for the rest of your products as well, that you think about like the benefit to the customer. Why is it that the customer is wanting to buy that jewelry from you? Obviously, like jewelry is a very personal thing. So, is it because they're trying to learn about your culture or connect with your culture? Or is it simply because your items just make them feel like they look like $1 million? Really try to understand from the customer perspective of, why is it that people are wanting that item from you? And that will give you a clue into how to write for the benefit part of your product description. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just stop. We got 45 seconds left here. We'll just see if anybody else wants to share. So if you want to share, just come off of mute. It's kind of hard for me to scroll up and down looking for hands raised, but just unmute yourself if you want to share. And then after that, we'll kind of wrap up for the day. Okay. Okay, well then we're just going to go ahead and wrap up so I can make sure and get everyone out of here on the right time. I appreciate everyone doing that. I know it's always kind of awkward when you're doing this kind of stuff in a webinar, like we do these hands-on exercises, whenever we're doing live classes, and it is totally fine. And then it's like when you're in a webinar, because you're not seeing anybody. In fact, you can't even really see me. It feels a little bit awkward, but you guys did an excellent job today. And congratulations, because you made it through basically the hardest part of website development. And so again, tomorrow we are going to talk about branding. So I'm going to teach you how to create a logo. I'm going to teach you how to create a favicon. And if you do end up doing a Google site, and actually you can do this in other website platforms too, I'll teach you how to create a website header. So those are really fun things that we got planned for tomorrow. OSTA has put up a survey. And if you don't mind just taking a couple minutes before you leave the class to do the survey, and that lets OSTA and NLC know how you enjoyed the webinar, and provides feedback, I think, for me also to let me know how I might be able to improve this presentation for future use. But with that, I thank all of you for joining us today, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone back again tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Lynn. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your webinar. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I did go ahead and launch the survey. It is also located at the very top. It is number 1. We greatly appreciate all feedback. Like Lynn says, it does help her and it helps me as well to know what needs we need to cater to. So please let us know what you would like to see or not see. Our next webinar is going to be tomorrow, March 29th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 a.m. Pacific. It will be a Guide to Website Development Part 3. Please make sure you do not miss it. It is going to be a good one. Feel free to access this and any other recorded webinars online on our website at www.nativelearningcenter.com. We have a Cathedra Webinars tab and a recorded webinar section. You can click on any one of these webinars that we have done for the past 18 months. Feel free to view them and share them with your friends and colleagues. Check out our upcoming events as well on our social media sites such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Snapchat. We even have a podcast titled Hopathanga. You can find that on Simplecast, Google Podcast, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. Once again, I want to thank everyone for joining us today. We greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, everyone.